Hello guys, we'll wait 5 more minutes before we continue. So we'll be building the project using JavaScript. We'll interact with the DOM. So you guys would see or experience what it means to work with JavaScript. Let us hold on a bit for the rest of us, then before we continue.
Zoom is doing a propos that your network is low.
I didn't get that. Come again.
I say Zoom is telling us that your network bandwidth is low.
Oh, Zoom is telling you guys. Shit. Let me see what I can do to fix that. Just hold on a bit. It rained here, so most likely it disturbed
It rain most likely in every part of the country, especially Lagos, Delta. That's worry. It's raining in Lagos currently.
It rained in Abuja, and I'm currently in Abuja, so that's why. So let's see if it works for sure. Let's see. And you guys will bear with me if in case it doesn't. But you guys can hear me clearly, yeah?
Very clear.
Compared to like yesterday and
Maybe cook catch you, so you won't talk as a way to warm your chest, so you are talking louder. I don't know.
okay then. Let's see, sure. Let's see.
Lad, you never joined class.
It's divine here. Sasu has been clamoring for project. Is she here? Is Josephine here? Is Kwelumi here? Who again do I remember?
Maybe I should just copy the meeting link and drop to this thing.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. That's kind of you.
Hello. Adama. What's up the class now? When is it holding?
The class is holding 3 minutes ago.
By this time tomorrow.
The class is holding actually. We are waiting for some persons to just join. I think that's what Abdul said. So you're up to 20 or so.
Okay, you're waiting for more people to join.
Yes, exactly.
I don't mean this one though. The one you were talking about in the group.
Okay, that class will be holding tonight or tomorrow. I'm
At what
predict
time
it can
though?
be tonight. You won't sleep. Oh, sorry. We will hold you ransom. You will stay awake all through the night. Actually, class can start from 8 p.m. Can start 7:30. Can start 8 p.m. So after this class, we determine how when. So we'll make this thing. Or let me just put the time now that the class. I will actually have to. But anytime it is fixed, I don't know. I pray that and hope that we are available for it. Whether it's 8
But
p.m.
you know the deadline is very close. Okay, maybe we are just focusing on the JavaScript.
For that class. I don't see. So funny enough, I will say something many of you may not know, but as it is, I don't know jack about that assignment yet. In fact, I don't even know what the assignment entails.
Which
So
assignment again? The landing
that same
page.
the landing page, yes.
You've not completed it.
Jesus Christ of Nazareth. So unfortunate that I always was missing coincidentally all the CSS class and I've not watched the videos.
Ah,
So
but have you
the
done the HTML part?
I
The
no be
man
when
say,
no be when you know A, you go know
you dey
B.
pity am.
You're supposed to know HTML now. Let's talk about CSS.
The thing shock me myself.
Ah, God.
Okay,
I
let
know
me
why they
tell
are
you,
deceiving us.
God in heaven bear me witness. Let me tell you what happened with the calculator assignment. If I tell you that I submitted that assignment about 26 minutes to deadline, you won't believe me.
Wow. That's
That
very
night,
risky. Oh.
all the risky. That night, Git was not allowing me to push again.
To push.
It was my first time of ever using Git.
Oh my God.
And I have to create username and thank God. And that was what I was about saying yesterday. When I encountered issue, I take it to AI, put the problem there. It will analyze some things and give me suggestions. I will go and try those suggestions. It will resolve the
Okay.
day. I encountered like about 6 to 7 different challenges at 9 minutes.
Well,
I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. In fact, at
yeah.
some point, I was seeing 5 points looking at me and then me giving up. Something says, just put your code on code pen and then send the code pen. Higher side, they give you half mark of anything you will earn. And somebody tell me, what if they now give you 0? So keep fighting still. So that was it. And in fact, there was no light. Thankfully to God, the church that I attend around here, where I came to here now, they are having men's vigil. I went to church, went to the teens church. I was there, all because of light. Oh my God. So
Hello,
that
sorry. Teacher is in here now, right?
no, this we are having time to just gist with ourselves, but I think he can continue now. No, we're up to 25, right? Anyway,
Oh,
thank you very much for your time for the gist.
Oh God.
How
I
did you
just want
catch up with
to
yourself? You don't want to say anything. So
start. I want to ask you something though. I was trying to
you
make
want to ask me
my Yes, I was trying to make my form in my landing page responsive using JS, but all I tried, nothing worked. So I don't
nothing
know.
works.
Nothing
look
worked.
at the way
No,
you're laughing at this.
we'll keep it today. You guys should just stay calm. We'll keep it today. But I don't think it's a prerequisite for you to use JavaScript for the code. But you can if you want to. But I don't think it's a prerequisite. But regardless, we are going to do a project today, as we promised ourselves, and I'll walk us through how. You guys can hear me clearly now, yeah?
No,
Because
I
I'm
think you are
improvising.
using your mobile device to talk through and then using your system to share screen. I don't understand this, your connection.
It's not better. Let me know.
At some point it's better, at some point it's not. That's what
It's
I
okay.
observed.
It's
Okay,
okay.
let's test it.
As long as we can hear you.
How about now? Is it better now?
I'm confused.
I
Again,
can hear
talk.
you. I can
Yes,
hear
it's
you on
okay.
yesterday.
Yes, it's okay. We can hear you clearly. So is it JS we have in ABCSS?
Yes.
You guys can hear me clearly now, yeah?
Go back to
Wahala.
the other one. Let's hear.
Hello.
Go back to the other one first.
Yeah, we
Let's
can
hear.
hear you.
I just need to be sure you guys can hear me clearly because I
We
got
can
complaints.
hear you.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
hear you clearly.
fair enough.
We can hear you clearly.
I will be building a project, and in that project, we'll be doing so this is Git desktop for those that are interested. I asked you guys to download Git desktop. Well, no, I didn't ask you guys. I said I were going to use Git desktop. So if you don't have Git desktop, you can just download it. You can just come to just type Git desktop and go Git desktop. Desktop. And if you come here, then you can install Git desktop, download for Windows. We already have it, so I don't think I'll be needing it. So if you download, then you can practically do what I'm about to do. So for today's challenge, we'll be doing the let's see.
Sorry, please. What do you ask us to do with it? Because
Yeah,
I've not been in the class.
I'll tell you what you do. It's all right.
Thank you.
So this is the project we'll be doing today. This let's check it out. So this is like a very simple sign up page. But we are going to use JavaScript to control what happens if a user enters a invalid email or does not fill the form. Just something to play around with the DOM. We are going to use HTML and CSS to build this layout. At least some of us that are having struggles with CSS. We'll use this to compensate. So let's do the usual. I'm going to start the project now. Who will ask me to sign up? I don't sign. Okay, I have an account with them. Just wait. Let me open this. So you can come here to get, I'll host it on my GitHub. Then you guys did not follow me on GitHub. Okay, no problem.
I
I
followed
saw
you instantly. Oh. You
I
said that
followed you.
the box
Only
will
five
wake up
people
to make noise.
Whereas I checked, only 5 people follow me. So this site is a very great site for practicing front-end issues, challenges, whatnot. I've done my part here. I'll show. Let me brag small. Let me just brag. Only small bragging. No bragging, right? Just small bragging. So if you come to Wall of Fame, you see my name here as one of the guys that has been there. It's long. If you come to all, let's see what we have. This all time. So that's fine. That's fine. My name. Yes, this is my name here. So I'm top 1%. 5%. So this is me. I've done some challenges here. I mean, you guys should check it out. So for this particular one, doing the sign-up challenge, as I rightly said, but I need to collect the file. So this one. Challenges. What that said, let's come to, yes, we are here. Let's see. Yes, it is. So if you come here, you can download. If you're a new user, it asks you to download the folder. Well, I've done this before, so I'll just download the starter for us to see how it works. So hold on, let me download the starter. Yes, it's done. Yes. So I'll open then I'll come here to download. I'll come here to extract files. I'll extract files. And this is it here. So I'm just going to click here, open with VS Code, and voila, we have opened VS Code. And this. Yeah. So this is like the starter file. You have our empty HTML file here. We have our style guide. So the style guide basically contains your styles for the project. You have your font that you're going to use, and you also have images, basically. So these are the images on the website that you can use. These are the design files, desktop view. Let's see what looks on desktop. Let's give it time to read on. So before we go on, I'll briefly just explain to us what DOM is. So DOM is the document object model. So it's basically what interacts with the HTML file and also the CSS. So with JavaScript, you can do a lot of things basically. You can change the styles from JavaScript. You can change the text from JavaScript. You can perform a lot of magic in JavaScript. So we are going to test all those things out today. And let's start. So as usual, let me bring this down. Yes. So as usual, we'll do what we do first. We have our HTML file here, so there's no need to do our HTML, but we need the JavaScript and the CSS file. So I'll come here and open app.js. Then I'll open styles.css. So we're using external CSS this time. There are 3 types of CSS. Who can tell me? I asked you guys before. 3 types of CSS, or 3 styles of CSS or HTML.
Type in chat.
You mean okay?
Yes, go on. Don't be shy. Go on.
You
Inline,
mean
external,
styling
and internal.
and internal? You want it to answer.
I didn't get that. Come again. I didn't get that.
We have inline styling, internal and external.
Inline styling is the one that goes inside your HTML tag. Then the internal is the one that goes also in your HTML file. So there's the tag and there's the file. Then the external is the one that comes from outside. So now, mind you, that there are several ways to code, and this is based off perspective and what you prefer. So it's perspective and preference. Why are you always writing on my screen, this guy? There's somebody always writing on my screen. I don't know why. So there's perspective and there's preference. Every developer has to choose. So you have to go to the journey yourself, select how you want to. Do you understand? But before I go on, I'd love to show you guys just a tiny bit of magic. Let's see.
Sorry, I have a question. I've been wanting to ask in CSS class, but I always forget. This
Right, that's
attribution that is there in the styling part, what is it meant for?
this particular attribute. So it's from the footer here. If you are building like a front-end mentor challenge, they automatically give you this. So this is where you put your name and your link. You understand? So it doesn't really matter. For our own this we'll remove it most likely. But just leave it here for the meantime. Is that okay?
Okay,
Please,
yes,
can
thank
you
you.
show your screen again? Thank you.
Can I do what?
Zoom in, don't use your
Yeah,
screen.
zoom in. I'll zoom in. Don't worry, I'll zoom in. I think this is okay, or I should still zoom in more.
It's okay, it's okay.
Thank you very much. Because the bigger I get, the more I get. So yes, just hold on. Sorry, 1 minute. Let me I'm back. I apologize for that. So, for this project, let us come here and demo something before we start. So I'll just put let me see, Chidima HTML. So we're using Chidima.html today, and you just do a quick boilerplate. And for this, we just put a paragraph with an ID of, let's say the ID tests. Let's use tests. So this is like an empty HTML file. So we are going to link it to our JavaScript script source, and we'll add this. I'm forgetting something here. Can someone remind me what I'm forgetting?
The file.
Yeah.
This
Perfect.
part.
So now let's test this out, and let's see console.log. Yeah. Console.log. So it's extremely important you do this. Now I'll tell you guys why. So when I used to code, like early days, there's a time I like did my code and everything. I wrote my JavaScript, and it wasn't working with my HTML. And I was surprised because my code was correct. I think it was correct. Yes, it was, but it was not reflecting on my site. And I was wondering why. Unknown to me that I didn't link my HTML file, so I had to like suffer for 5, 10, 15 minutes. So if you are starting to code, it's just best you test out your stuffs. If it's working, then you can go on to stuff. So let's test it out now. Let's go to our incognito tab. We have an incognito tab, I think. Where's our incognito tab? So this is our incognito tab. This is what we're using today. So let's do localhost. Let's see. Live server. Let me do here. Let me copy this. So let's check our console now. And you can see hello world. Perfect. So our JavaScript is working. Now, we're treating DOM today. And DOM basically is the document object model. Now, in JavaScript, is what they call the document. So document is like a keyword or a property that holds a lot of things. Yeah. So it's more or less like a way to access everything on this white page here, and even more. But we'll be taking note of just what's on the white page. So what goes on the white page, as you can see, can vary from your text, your images, a form, videos, anything you can think of. And the document is like a way to interact with it. So JavaScript provides us with the document. So I'll go to my, and mind you, let me, I'll put this side by side. I'll put this here. I'll put our JavaScript. Can you guys see my screen like this? Is it better like this? I want to show you guys something. I don't know if it's comfortable for you
Yeah,
guys. Is it
it
comfortable?
is.
Okay, nice.
It is.
So now we have a paragraph tag here, and the paragraph is empty. So I can just come here and test and say, hello, Chidima. Yes. And if I go back to our, let me clean this out. If I go back to our tab, I can see hello, Chidima here. Nice and smooth. Yeah. So what if I want to access this particular hello, Chidima? And I've said it before, when we're doing the calculator app we did by the side. So now let's type document. If you press dot, you would notice we have various type of properties linked to it. There are several types, up to 100, if I'm not correct, more than 100. Now, all these types are what you use. You don't need to know all, because I myself don't know. I don't think there's like any developer that knows, or most likely they might be, but there's like the important part of what you use most of the times. And for developers, you might likely see the get elements by query selector. I think these are the two most commonly used. Do you understand? If an append child, I would talk about all these parts bit by bit. But for most at times what you see is the query selector, and this is why you have it is like on star. Create elements, get element by ID, body, query selector, add event listener. What the add event listener does is to listing for an event. So events in the sense that if you go to a website and you click on something, click is an event. So it registers it, okay, you've clicked on this particular tag. After clicking, this is what you would do. And we're going to test everything out. But I'm just trying to give you guys an overview. There's also the get elements by ID. Now we are using this particular to get IDs from our HTML file. So if I come here and say, let's put demo, because we have put test, we have tests here. And let me put this in a variable. So let's save this with a variable here. So let's say test is equals to this. So let's come here and console log our test and let's see what we see. So log test. Let's go back to our. So let's open our console. If you open our console, we are seeing the. Let me zoom in. You can see the paragraph we have. And that paragraph is carrying the ID test and the word Chidinma. Now, this is a way to select a particular tag in our HTML file. So basically targeted this. Now let's go back and make it more interesting. Now, if you do this, then you can put the dots. Now with the dots, there are also attributes assigned to it, basically. As you can see, there are different type of attributes here. Most likely you might need to know some, you might not need to know all. But these are also properties that are accessible to this test. And the most commonly used one is the value. There's also what they call the inner HTML. So the inner HTML now, let's see inner HTML. Let's console log the inner HTML and see. Let's go back to our console. As you can see, the inner HTML basically is returning what? Hello Chidinma. Hello Chidinma is what this particular tag is holding, which is this. Now let's go back to our HTML and change some things. Let's change Chidinma to, let me see what's on the board. Abimbola. Let's use Abimbola. So let's change it to Abimbola. Abimbola. If I save it and I go back to our file here, we are seeing hello Abimbola here. So now with this, we know that we can access what is on the HTML using the get element by ID. There's various types. There's get element by class, by tag. All these ones you do personally. Yeah, you can go and research more on it. Now let's say we want to change hello Abimbola now to hello. Let's say hello Divine, hello Sasu. So let's come here and say, okay, for this particular one, once the test dot inner HTML to be equal to hello Sasu. Now, what do you expect to happen now? Ideally, what do you expect to happen?
Hello, Sasu.
Yes. So let's go back to
Yeah, because we thought.
That's what. Now to JavaScript that we don't want the HTML file or the HTML tag to hold Abimbola again. We want it to hold Sasu. So this is like a very simple way to access your files or your tags or anything you want to basically in HTML. And if you note, yeah, there's various types of ways to do many things. I'm not expecting to get this once, and I won't expect us to get this once. But what we can do that will make it stick or make it stay with us is the usability. So we have to continue using this stuff. On your own, go on and use. Don't be scared. If you have questions, you can simply ask Google, ask anything. Come to the chat and ask us, then we'll try and find something for you. So doing that, at least we have like a glimpse of what it means to work with our DOM. There are various things to do with it, but we'll take it bit by bit. So let's go on and start to build our project. So let's say for our project, let's do this. So I'll just delete this. I'll go on and delete this. We already have like an idea of how to access. I'll delete Chidema. Yes, I'm to delete it. So we are using this now. So personally, before I start any project, there are various ways of coding. Remember I said this here, and everything is based off preference. But on my own case, before I start a project, some people will build out their HTML first before they start styling. Some people will build out their HTML, then style. So for instance, let's go back to our design. Let's do this. We have this. So if some people will just build out the layout, they'll put the length to code, put this and put the form before they start styling. Some people will do this first, style, then come here and do their style. Everything boils down to what you yourself prefer. Do you understand? So for me, depending on my mood, I would most times put out my HTML first before I start styling. And that's what I'll do now. So once you want to start styling, for accessibility's sake, there are 3 things you should do. On your body tag, there are 3 things you should do. You should have your header first. You should have the main, and you should have the footer. Now, as you can see, our website now does not have a header. It's just this basically, does not have a header. So in this case now, it's acceptable for you to remove this. You don't have a header. Do you understand? But once you're into a website that has like a nav bar, it's a must to use what is called an header. For that header, then you put your nav bar inside the nav tag. All this is called semantic HTML. So it helps your Chrome or your browser to tell which is which and what is what, and treat things as it's supposed to be. Do you understand? So it's very, very important to take semantics into consideration if you are building the HTML file. So for this case, we are not using our header because we don't have a header. So we are going to root that out and use just the main. We have a footer here, so leave it for now. So for that reason, we'll come and say, okay, our main now, we have 2 things. If you notice, there are 2 sides to this particular picture. Let's see, we are replicating this. We have a side that has the text, and we also have a side that has the form. Practically, if you are coding here, first of all, dissect your code in your head. If you have a website, and I will illustrate that to us now. So let's go back to this, and let's come back to our front-end mentor. So as you can see here now, we have several layers here. We have a layer up that talks about looking to hire developers, visit, blah, blah, blah. We also have a nav bar here that has this particular image. There also this part. Do you understand? Now, if you are doing this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then a particular button here. You have to, as a developer, first of all, assess what you're trying to do before going on to build. After that, we have like a big hero section here that contains the image. If you come down, we have 3 boxes. First off, you have 2 boxes, this box and this particular box. Then in this particular box, you have 2 boxes, the one up and the one down. This is how you assess a project or a design before you go on to do anything. And there's like a, what's the name? There's like a, so let me change this to index. There's an extension to help us do that. Yes. There's an extension to help us do that. So I'll go to, yes. So let's come here and check. Let's just check. Hold on. Finding like a website. Okay, let's use Zuri as an example now. That is it. So I have an extension here called pesticide. So if I turn on pesticide now, what do you notice? There are several blocks on this particular website. These blocks basically outline how items are placed in our DOM. So if you come to this home now, you can see that this home is inside one box. Then there's a box here and another box here. Inside this box, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. If you come down, you can see there's a big box here. This big box has 3 sides. There's this side, and this side. For the first side, there's 1 and there's 2. For the second side, you have this. For the third side, we have this. So this is like an important way to visualize your code or your design before doing anything. So with that being said, let's go back to our code. So now we
Please,
have to.
I missed it. Sorry. How did
Oh,
you
the
get that
exercise. Write it for us.
site? I did not know how you got that this thing. That thing that made it to form a boss.
It's an extension. You can download it on Google actually. It's a Google extension.
What's the name of the extension?
Pesticide.
So okay, if I just download it on my VS
Yes.
Code.
When you download, no, not your VS Code on Google. Just download it
Okay.
on Google as a Google extension. So you
Okay.
can activate it on Google when you want to inspect or just generally on the page.
Okay. That point. So how do you activate it?
I think he did it. He should. He can show us again.
Hey, sorry, I missed my network.
You go back to our class, then it's it. Go back to our program. Okay, let me do it for 3 6. So if you want to download it here, just open a new tab, type pesticide extension, then press open, then you see it here. So if you come here, you're going to get like the add to Chrome tab. It's already on my Chrome, so there's no need to add. But in your own case, you might see add to Chrome. So if you add to Chrome, automatically downloads. Then if you download, there's nothing else to do. You just see the icon. You can come here and you see the icon here. Pesticide. Use it. Then you can pin it to your navbar. And voila, that's all. So if you click on it now, you see the whole box thing happening. You can toggle in and toggle off. Is that right? It's as easy as
Yes,
that. So let's
thank
go
you.
back to our you're welcome. Let's go back to our code. So for this now, let's visualize it. And doing that, I would put this in one side and I'll come here and say, let's use our HTML. So let's wait for it to load here. Yes. So I'll zoom in a bit. So for this particular one, let's say we are going to have 2 sections. And mind you, I'm using sections here intentionally. So I'll type in section and I'll duplicate it into 2. So we have 2 sections. It's what they call they are shortcuts basically in VS Code. I'll paste you guys like a video on YouTube where you can learn shortcuts on VS Code. It makes your work easier. Like now, if you want to duplicate, just do this, and it duplicates automatically. If you want to like type a div with, let's say, container, you can just do this and you type. If you want 10 divs, you can just do div, then you see it. So there are shortcuts that makes work very easy for us. But I'll give you guys a video to touch on that. So we have 2 sections now. Our first section will be holding this particular learn to code by watching others and this paragraph. So we'll come here and add it, one H1. The H1 will be holding the learn to code and see by watching others. So this is here. We'll copy it, we'll paste it here. Then we'll also come to the learn to code by watching others. I have to remove it so we don't confuse us. Now we have a paragraph, and the paragraph basically holds see. See how experienced developers so blah blah blah, but it's stuff that's invaluable. So cut this out, cut it out, we paste it here. This is done. So now we have our we have the 2 things we need here. So we have to come back to the form. So for the form, we have this particular layout. Now, mind you, I said for every time you do something, you have to check what and what you need to do. So we have this bar here. We also have like this particular layout here. Do you understand? So we have to first itemize, okay, what do we need? We need this particular box we have here. They also need what we have here. So for that reason, I'm going to come here and say, okay, let's do, before we get that form, let's do this. So for this now, we'll just put, let's use H4. And for that H4 now, if you notice, there's a part that is thicker and there's a part that is thinner. If you notice, let me zoom in completely, drag it here. So if you see there's a thicker part and there's a thinner part. So for here, let's put the 7 days. Let's put this. Let's cut it out. Let's hide here. And let's also come here. Inside this H4, have a span. So a span, because a span is also an inline element. So what they call inline element, there's the block element, there's the inline element. So the block element are those that take up the whole space in your HTML file. And there's the inline. So inline, for example, my inline element is a tag. So we'll come here and add the then $20 per month thereafter. So we'll come here, cut this, we'll paste it here. Mind you, I'm supposed to put this here, so I'll just shift it this. I think we are good to go with that. Then also, we have this form. So you can just come here below it. You can put form. And for our form now, we have the first name. I'm assuming this is the first name, this is the last name, this is the email, and this is the password, basically, based on how the house has been set. So I can come here and say, okay, for this, and it's dicey because anyhow you want to, not anyhow you want to, but there are ways you put out stuff like this. Ordinarily, you have your label. Your label will carry what you need or what's that particular item for. So you can put first name here. And you can come inside the label, then put your input. Then your input is a text. Then we can say this for this text, what we need is a placeholder. So a placeholder is like the text you are seeing now before you start entering. So that placeholder, let's put first name. First name. Then we just duplicate this. Then put last name here. Anyway, there's first, put D, just put last. You see how easy it is for us to like move around instead of typing it set by set. But this will put email.
Wait, I want to ask a question. This one that we are building, is there a label for this one? Or we are not following this template?
We are following this template. So there's no label for it because label basically is the one you see like on top here. But ideally, you can still segment your code like this instead of isolating just the input like this. There's no crime if you do it like this. There's no crime. But personally, this is how I prefer to do it. So regardless, if okay, I'll illustrate it to you. Just hold on. Let me finish putting it out. I'll show you guys something. We have our email. Then we can come here, duplicate, and we have our password, which is password. Then we have a button. We have a button, and the button says claim your free trial. Easy peasy. Yeah. Now we also have this text here. You can come below the button and say small. Then we'll add by clicking this, then we can come and say this. But notice the terms and services are in red. So we need to find a way to isolate it. Same way we did up, we just put our span, then put this. Then with this, we are practically done with our HTML. So if we come back and let's check our console. This is it. So I'll close this out because we're not using our console for now. So this is how it is without style. It's extremely ugly, that I can confirm. Very, very ugly. Now we'll see how we convert this to what we saw in our in the picture. So now what I want to point out now for this label. So for instance, now I'll come here and add first name. Let's add first name. To go back to our code, we'll see the first name here. So this is what like the label does ordinarily. Because if you go to our website now, you see the first name on top of the input field. That's how you can use your label. But in some cases, like this is our case now, we don't have any stuff on top. You can eventually leave it out. But just personally, this is a personal preference. How I just want to do my stuff is doing it. So if there's no label, it flies. If there's label, then you can use it like that.
I even think in real sense, it is very important that we get to use label because the 4 attribute that is there works hand in hand with the input IDs.
Perfect.
So if we are writing JavaScript,
Everything is preference. Some people prefer to do things a certain way, while others a certain way. But there's also a standard way of doing some stuff. Do you understand? But you can't really tell somebody how you want them to do it, especially. But this is how I feel it should be done. You might go elsewhere and somebody will tell you a different thing. Do you understand? So now we've done our HTML. Let's now focus on our styling. So for the styling now, let's not forget we have to link our style.
Sir.
Yeah, yeah, I mean you. Someone like that ask a question.
Yes, please, no, just help me and zoom in. Your
Ah,
this I'm not seeing because my laptop just no light. I'm using my phone now, so I can't really see what you're doing.
um,
Please, I'm sorry.
Alternatively, you can as well zoom your phone screen on the Zoom platform. I don't know if you know of that.
Yes, I'm seeing the zoom. Yeah, I think I've utilized the. Okay, let me know
fair
about
enough.
the class now.
Let's just continue. There's no issues. I can do that for you. So now we have we're done our HTML. So let's link our style. So we use the link tag and we'll come to our href, then do the style. So basically link our style now. So let's test it out. Always test out this stuff. It's very important. So let's say for the background color red. Background color red. Let's test it out. Let's see. Yes, it's working. Perfect. It's pointing to the eye. So I'll remove this now. And now for this particular project, we have our style guide. Style guide for developers. Because in big projects, if you're using Figma as an example, let me see if I can share my Figma and show you guys like what a style guide is if you're working like a big project. Let me see, I have Figma open, I think. I have Figma open. So I have Figma open. So this is a particular so this is a project I'm building, I'm working on currently. I have to zoom out to give out details. But here you can see the style guide. So this is like a professional setting now where you have like a job and you have designers in your team. They always provide developers with style guide. So what style guide basically indicates is that you have like a template to follow in terms of color, most especially color, how your input is supposed to be. It's like a primary color, a secondary color. And in a more robust settings, you'd see, let me try and open this. This is a more robust settings. Well, let's be looking at this, spending the time down. Oh, where is it? So let's look at this first. So as you can see, there are different types of color here. And as developers, you should be like familiar with the style guide because it gives like us a sense of how things are supposed to be done. This has like a proper, yes, let's use this for an example now. So this is what happens in the real world. Though. They give you screens and they give you mobile screens, tablet screens, and desktop screens. So you are going to build everything as it's supposed to be. Now, this is our style guide. As you can see, these are the colors that were used in the website. Do you understand? So we have the typography. Typography indicates the font family. So a different kind of font. You have the sans serif, basically you have the serif, you have the cursive, you have different font family, but there are also like children, let me name it children, yes, inside the family. So for sans serif, you have the Sora, the Laura, the Inter, the Poppins, blah, blah, blah. You also have the interactive element. So for your input field now, this is how it is ordinarily. This is how your placeholder is. So if text is active, or if you are filling a text, this is what it should look like. If it's active, this is what it look like. If it's error, this is what it should look like. So this is what, and this is also a button, as you can see. So this is like what a style guide is. So it gives user like a sense of, or the developer a sense of the structure of that particular website. So back to our code. So this the style guide provided to us. You are doing only two screens, the mobile and the desktop. And these are our color. Now, if you are working on a very big project, there are things you should do. First things first. So I'll teach us how to get, for this font, we're using Poppins. So let's try and get Poppins. Let's get Poppins. So you can come to Google Fonts and get Poppins. There are two ways to use the font. You can use it in your HTML file or your CSS file. Personally, and I'm using personally on purpose. So personally, I like to put my style in my CSS. So I can come to embed code here, then come to the import statement. Now let's copy this. If I copy this and I come to our code and I paste it here, always put it on top. So you to read it first. So now I've imported this particular styles, and I'll come to our site and let's test it out. So let's refresh and see. Is there any change? Let's see. Oh, there's no change yet because we have to put in our body. So we have to use it to do our font family. Okay, yes, font family. Then we'll put Poppins. Poppins. Then come and say sans serif. So this particular tag here is like a fallback. So in case there's no Poppins in your browser, automatically it uses sans serif. But like it's more specific if you're using the Poppins. So what happens first is that the browser first checks for Poppins. If there's no Poppins, then it just falls back to sans serif. So that's how like this particular statement works. So let's go back to our browser and see. Yes.
Please, I have a question. Sorry,
Yes.
I have a question. If you maybe you know all these fonts, they have different weights, like some will be 400, 300, 100. If you download just only one, it's okay to cover any other one, right? The way you just imported it. Doesn't mean I have to go and download for 100, download for 400.
The import statement already has the 100.
Okay, only one is enough. Okay.
They are importing, but there are ways to selectively collect only the ones you need. Do you understand? There are ways you can only collect the ones you need. But for this particular one that we are doing now, I just imported everything and it practically showed like it imported the weight with it. So all the weights you can think of is here already. So only what you do now, and I'll illustrate that moving forward, is when you want to use it, then you can practically say, okay, I want this particular text to have the weight of 800 or 400, 500 or whatnot. Do you understand? But with this now, we already did what we need to do as you can start. So if you comment this out and go back to our code and refresh, you can see that the font is working. Now that we have our fonts in place, let's check what we need to do now. So what we need to do now is to segment. First off is to put this thing in the middle. So you need to put it in the middle first off. Then segment it. Now for that, we also need to put, yes, before I forget, then they call the global reset. So if you are working with HTML file, if you notice now, let's go back. If you notice, and I don't have incognito here, let's go back to where we have our hold on, index. Yes, so as you can see now, if I pop on you can see there's a space up, like there's a space here. But we're not adding like any margin to this particular website, but we have margin here. So naturally, every element on the HTML has like a natural margin attached to it. Do you understand? So the first thing you always do is to set your margin. So you can come here and do this. So if you use the star or asterisk, you've targeted all the elements in HTML. So you can just do margin 0, adding 0, and box sizing. So this particular 3 properties in CSS allows that every tag or element in your HTML practically obeys this rule. Now we are perfect. If you notice, I'll comment this out and you'll see the difference. Let me comment it out. Let's check again. You can see how spaced out they were or they are now. Now, if you go back and uncomment it, you see everything is perfect now. So this is how it's supposed to be. This is one of the first things you do when you're working with like a project. Always reset your margins and paddings and your border box. So with that, now we have done what we need to do. The next thing now is to use this particular image on the body. So you have to like put this fine background image on the body. And in doing that, it's practically easy because we have the image here. Let's go to our image. Let's see. Yes, we have the image here. And this is the image. But if you notice now, there's like this red background color. I think, let's see. There's this red, there's the image. There's this red background color here. So this is where it becomes dicey. The other thing to do again now is to introduce our colors to this. So let's come to our style guide. And we have the colors we are supposed to use. We have this red, we have this green, we have this blue, we have this dark, grayish blue and dark. So I'll copy everything here. I'll copy everything here and I'll come to our style and I'll paste it here. Now, if you are doing this, there's how to make, it's like variables. Yes, let's do like that. It's like variables in HTML, in JavaScript. Let's create a variable for each of this color. So you can do this, you can say root. Once you put this root, and let's put everything inside. Let's do this. Let's do this. And let's remove this. Let's remove this. So now, in the process of making a variable, you can basically just come here and put double dash and red. So what I've done now is any place we want to use in our code, we have to use this particular color. We can reference it with red. And I'll do the same thing for green. Anywhere we want to use this particular color, we can reference green to it. And I'll show you how. You can do this for blue also. Anywhere we want to use this particular color, we can just say blue instead of typing out the color completely. This helps in like it has like large advantage because if, for instance, now a color change along the line, there's no need for it to come and start changing the color everywhere it is. Just to come here and change the color. Let's do this for gray. And let's adjust this. Perfect. Yes, so you are set. So this is like a way to basically add variables to your CSS. So just note it down. So now let's test it out. So we need our image, this particular image here, this one with the pattern. So let's introduce it to our body because we have to add to the body because the body encompasses everything. So first off, we'll say background. Now this background has 20 properties attached to it. So there's the background color, there's the background size, there's the background position, there's various type of background dash where you can, let's test it out. So if I do background dash, you can see different stuff attached to background. But if you use only background, then it's like a shorthand to different things you want to use. Do you understand? So for now, let's say we want to bring in our CSS, our image. You can do URL. Then let's find the image. So we can say this image is in our image folder and is our background. Perfect. Let's put this in quotes. Let's see. Then you can come and say no repeat. So there are two ways of doing it. I can put background image here. I can do background dash image. And I can come and say background repeat. So this background repeat, what it does is it forbids or allows your image to repeat or not. Do you understand? If I put background image, no repeat, it means that the image only appears once. There's some images that are very small. And if you give your body like a size or a height, if that particular image is not enough to cover it, what happens is it duplicates itself until it covers everywhere. Do you understand? So in doing this now, you might not get the desired result you're looking for. So most often you put no repeat. You can also come and say, okay, you want the background position to be center. Now this is, to me, this is very long, very, very long. Do you understand? But as beginners, you can most likely do it like that to spell it out. Or you can just come here and put it no repeat. You can also say size center. So with this now, you've indicated that in this background, though, this is the image, this is the repeat, and this is the position. And you can add other things to it. if you wish. Do you understand? So this is how to like place out your background. It's called a shortcut. And it also works for padding. So in part, okay, I'll get to that. But for now, just put this in mind. So after this now, we have our image. So let's go and check. Let's access our sites. Yes, we have the image here. If you can see, the image is showing. But it's not what we need, or it's not what it's supposed to be. Because we have this reddish, let me show you. We have this reddish overlay on it. So what we just need to do now is to come to our CSS and say background color. Now we're using the variable, so just use the var dash red. So now we've just indicated that instead of copying this color, we are using the variable and using the red. So let's go back and see what we have. Yes, perfect. So we have our indication now. So we are done with the background. So what we need to do now basically is to see, let's check our picture again. If you notice, this particular image spans across everything we need here. And it's not quite similar here. It's just covering what we need here, and it stops. So there are also different properties available to us. So you can come and see background cover. Hood, background size. So background size cover means it should cover everywhere. Let's give our body, let's say width 100 units, height 100 view height. So what this does basically is saying we have what they call the view width and view height in JavaScript, in CSS, and it works with our windows basically. So we are saying, okay, now let me zoom in. Let me zoom in and say this is 2176. This is the width basically. And if you notice, it still covers everything we need to cover. In some cases, and I'll illustrate that to us when we start, like when we're in the body of our form. If you note that your body should contain only 80% of the view width, it calculates 80% of this particular screen. It calculates the screen and takes only 80%. If it indicates 70%, it calculates the screen and takes only 70%. But we need it to be full. So if somebody is looking at it on the TV, it should display beautifully on the TV. If somebody looking at it on a smartphone, you should also take the view width of that smartphone. Also the view height. If you're using this, you have to be very, very careful because you might use it somewhere I'm supposed to use it and it spoils everything. So we have this in place now. So let's go back and focus on our design. So we need to put this in the middle, basically. And let's check. For that, we have what's our HTML? We have our main, and this main is the body. So I'll remove the footer because we don't need the footer for now. And this footer, close this out. So we have our main, and that main section is what is inside the body. We need to put this main now in the middle. Yeah. So we just come to our CSS and target the main. So there are two ways of doing it. You can put main here. Since we have only one main, you can do this. You can also use your class or your ID. So for now, we have only one main, so there's no harm in doing this. We just put the main. No, rather, we'll come to our body. Then we'll put display flex, align items, center, justify content, center. Let me comment this out. So let's go back and check. Yes, we have our items beautifully placed in the middle of everything. So 1 + 1 is 2, and this is solved. So what we need to do now is to, yes, Candy, you have a question.
This align item and justify item, I used to get confused by it. Can you briefly explain it?
Okay, no issues, I'll do that. So for JavaScript here, or for Flexbox and Grid, yeah, the align items and justify content are a way to place your items horizontally and vertically. Do you understand? And let's quickly do a small demo. This is not a CSS class. Okay, let me just do it. This is not a CSS class, but let me just do it. So I'll go to CodePen and quickly illustrate it to you guys. put so let me just log in. I have an account, I think. I do have an account. So let's quickly illustrate flex blocks before we continue. So hopefully we don't take enough time. So I'll just come here, open a new pen. So in this new pen, I'll just quickly say we have 3 divs. So we have a div, here's a div, and we just duplicate it. Then we'll come to our CSS, we just do this, then we'll do the div. So this div will just give it a width of, let's say, 10 area. Give it a height, let's say 10 area. Then let's give it a background color. Let's leave it first like this. So say our body, let's just give it display flex. So let's see. It should be white. So let me just give it a background color. Let's say blue. Let's save and see. Yes, so let's say each of them has, because now we can't see anything. You just want box. Let's imagine that. And let's say an area. Now we can see our boxes here. Now what flex does is, if I remove this flex and let's save it, let's remove flex and see. You can see everything aligns like vertically. No, vertically is like this, horizontally, yes. This aligns horizontally. Now the what flex does basically is
This is
making
vertically.
Vertically, sir. Vertically.
wait, where is vertical and horizontal?
This is horizontal. This is
This
horizontal.
This
this
one is horizontal.
Up to down is vertical. Left to right is horizontal.
Yes.
I was still forgetting the English. Yes, thank you. So yes,
waiting for
vertically. Yes, this way, you put it in your mind that wherever this is, that's one of my problems with vertical, horizontal, those are column. It confuses me all the time. So yeah,
Now
basically,
small thing, they had you. Big thing, no, they had you. JavaScript no had you. Now small thing, they had you.
it happens. So basically, it aligns it on your, let me use x-axis now. So yeah, that's perfect. It aligns on your x-axis. I know that one. So this is your x-axis, this is your y-axis here. So it aligns it this way for you. So if you can also change it because there's like x direction, x direction. What flex direction does is you can change it to column. Yes, and it gives it like this particular look. But naturally, if you leave it this way, what happens is it takes the x-axis. So what align item does is it helps in controlling your items horizontally and vertically. So for the align now, you can move your items. So in this, let's use this third one. Let's give this here. I'll give it a class name. You guys don't do this in your CSS class.
We did though, but I didn't get that part. Even when I want to.
Okay, so let's give it a yellow. So in this yellow now, let's have 3 items in it. So let's have H1, and we have K in D. I'll just put K. Then I'll copy this and paste it, then put Divine. I don't know if divine is here, but divine, yes. So we have two items here now. Let's make this wider. Let me just copy this and give it, let's do 20, 20, 20. Yes. So if I add flex to this, what happens automatically? Then it picks out the item and automatically makes it a row. Flex. There is a row automatically. You can see the Kenny and divine side by side. So if you want to move this particular item now, you can move it in your y-axis. That's for the align. So if I come and say align items, align item, and I put end, flex start, flex end, flex start, flex end. You see, it brings the item down, but it's bringing it on this basis. If I come and put flex start, which is like the default, it brings it back to the up. If I bring it to the center, then it does this. It brings it to the center, basically. So it moves your item on your y-axis. Then for the justify, it does like the opposite. So if you come and put justify content, justify content, what it does is the same way we have our flex stats. Flex stats. Then let's save. Let's remove this so it doesn't. No. Yes. So we have this basically. It's based on the fact that it's let me put n, so it's try is moving it's moving on the y-axis. So if flex start is going to start from here ordinary, flex end brings it to the end. But on the x-axis, why this one moves on the y-axis? Do you understand? So if I come and say justify content center, justify content center, it brings it to the center. Do you understand? So this is how like it works with the flex, the align items and justify content. There are several ways to like also properties. You can put space between, and what happens is that it spreads out. So the items are equally distributed between both ends. You can put space evenly, and it calculates the item. The space between this and this is the same thing between this and this, and same thing between this and this. So this is how like it works. You can also play around with this particular concept till you understand it. So
Please, does it mean that those justify content and align item, they work with respect to the display flex?
Don't put display. So back to our code. Welcome back from that commercial break. So now what we need to do now is to separate our text and our form. So in doing that, now let's go back to our HTML. So from what we learned now with Flex, we have two items here. Basically, it's two sections. So we can come to our main here. And with the main, we can just say, okay, we have our main here. What do we do next? Let's give it display flex. If we give it display flex, what happens automatically? It becomes a row. As you can see, it's a row, which is perfect. But what we need to do now is let's check our design. If you see, there's like this particular space here. You understand? It's not fetched to the end. And this is where the max width of the part comes in place. So let's come here and give our, let's say max width. Let's say max width, and let's give the width 80. Now I'll show you the difference. So if I come and let's go back to our design. If you're using the max width, then you have to, okay, no, let's do this first. So let's go back to our design. You can see now, like, I mean, we have it in our middle, and we have that space we're looking for here. In some cases, if you're using the width, then you would notice that your items are to one side. To be on like a very safe side here, you can just come here and say margin 0 auto. So what this does basically is that it aligns the top and bottom margin to be 0. You can change this value. What is most important is this auto. So auto brings it to the center, basically saying, okay, the margin between the left and the right needs to be like equal. So with that, it collects them and brings the item to the center. So in a case where you use with and you notice that your item is not like in the middle, then you can do this. I'll illustrate it to us. So now we have our display flex and we are closer to getting what we need, I think. So what we need to do now is to change this particular, what's the name? This, what we have here, we have white and the text is bigger. Yeah. On a normal day, you might get like a Figma in the Figma file. Maybe in our next class, I'll try and work with Figma. So you guys will have like real life experience of what it means to work with Figma. But for now, let's just use our eyes to code. So we have this particular learn to code. And let's make it white because obviously that's white. So we can come to our CSS. Since we have only one H1, and it's important to note this, you can only have one H1 on a particular page. So as this page is now, you can only have one H1. Reason is there's only H1 is more or less like the most important text in a website. So that's why if you go to a website and let's go to this, let's go home, let's see. Let's go this way. Network is bad, network is bad. It's not taking the name. This is my own. Let me find a website that has like landing. Let's go to Zuri. Let's use Zuri. Zuri intention. Let's use Zuri website. So if you note now, we have like a main text here, and this is the main text here, and this is in H1. So you can't go on and see this can't be H1 again, like H2 or so. So it's very important to have only one H1 on the website. It helps for accessibility. Do you understand? So that being said, we have our H1 here. Where's the site we're using? Yes, this is. So this is our H1 now. We need to style it. So we can come and target our H1. Since we have only one H1, target our H1. Come and see color should be white. Then font size. Let's use 3.5. REM. Like I said before, if you're using REM, it means you are saying 16 times what 3.5. So if you want to use pixels, the 16 times 3.5 will give you like the value for pixels here. But personally, I just prefer using REM. It's more responsive than using pixels. Then let's see, let's check what we have. Yes, it's looking like it. It's looking like it's looking like it. But there's this large space here, which is not supposed to be. So let's say line height. So to control the spacing here is what they call line height in CSS. So let's say line height. Let's set it to 100%. Let's check it and see. There's no change. Let's reduce it to 25. Let's see. It's changing, but it's very little. Let's see 100%. Let's see 100%. Yes, if you notice that this spacing between the line, let me make it obvious. Let me put this 300%. Let's go back and see. As you can see, like there's this height between it. It's not supposed to be. So let's do 110. I think 110 is fair.
Is there a reason why you are using percentage?
You can use REM and anything you want to use. But personally, that
okay, it doesn't matter.
You can come here, but you can't use 110 REM. Now you can't use that. So if you use that now, let's work. As you can see, you're watching others here and you're letting you can't see it. No. So for the REM, you can start with 1. I think 1 point. See. Let's check now. So you notice how it is. So you have to adjust it to your test. But personally, but sometimes it's relative to what you have in your font size. So this you have 3.5 as your font size. You can put 3 REM and it should look decent. So let's go back and see. Let's go back and see. It's saving. Let's allow it to save.
Do we need to put any units? We can just put like 1.5 or 3 without any units there.
You can actually let's test it out. I'm not sure, but I don't think let's test it out. Okay, tile units. line height 3. Let's see. It doesn't read it. Okay, yes. You can put 1.5. Let's see. 1.2, 1.1. Let's see. Like this. But personally, I also prefer the percentage because like it gives me like more control over it instead of just doing up and down, up and down. You can use this instead. You can use percentage. It doesn't really matter per se. So anything you want to do, you do. So let's come back and see. So there's like a little space between this and this. So let's give that space 1.5. Let's say margin bottom 1.5 area. Then let's go back and check. And yes, it goes well. Let's go back to our image and see what we have. So we have this. Now it's essentially like you try your possible best to make like a super perfect design. That's like the trademark of developers. Do you understand? It's very essential to do that. So we have 1, 2, 3. Let's go back and see. We have 1, 2, 3. But there's an issue here. This invaluable is supposed to be stopping, like in between this is great. What we have here is quite different in it, and we have to adjust that. So first off, let's take care of the text. So let's come back to our styling, and let's come back and see. We have only one paragraph.
I noticed that your line height, you did not put any units. It's just 1.1. Doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't. So we have only one paragraph here. I think yes. So it's good to go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I replied. You didn't hear. I replied. I didn't
hear. Sorry, network.
I said you can use. Okay, so for some properties in what's the name in CSS, it doesn't matter if you're adding the REM or not. Do you understand? Some you can't do it without putting like a measurement unit, like the font size, the width, the size. So you can't just come and put 100 as your size. It's weird. Do you understand? But for line height, word spacing, word height, letter spacing, also you can just practically do this. It works. Do you understand?
Okay.
Yeah. So for our we have only one paragraph, yes. So it's you can just do paragraph since you have only one. And since it's sharing the same color, we can just duplicate this and put it here. See our font size should be, let's say 1.05. Let's check it out. Let's see what we have. That big, okay. So what we need to do now is we need to there needs to be a space here, basically, because if you check your design, let's go back to our code. Check your design, you see that there's like a space here. So this is where the gap comes in place. So you can come to our VS Code and come to this place and add a gap. So we can say gap, let's say barrier. Let's check what we have. Yes, so we have our gap here. And you can see that our variable now is in between the is great, like we have in our design. So this is good to go. Let's confirm that. Yes, this is good to go. But there's like a spacing, because if you notice the paragraph have like spacing compared to ours. Ours doesn't have, or is in my eyes? Maybe it's my eyes.
Are you talking about the letter spacing, sir?
Yes, I'm talking about this spacing.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay, sir.
What we can do, imagine an opacity here. Let's just opacity. And the opacity basically is just to fade this a little bit. Yes. So it doesn't, this one is more obvious than this one. Do you understand? So we are done with that. So let's go to our form now. So we have this form. We have this form.
Okay, you said, sorry to draw you back. Sorry, sir. You said the opacity makes the text to be faint, Abi?
Yes. So the lesser you go, the more it is. If I could do this now, you can barely see it. Okay. Increase it now. So you notice I'm not using like any value here also. I'm just putting this. You can also put percentage. You can do 90%. So 90% is equivalent to 0.9. If I do this now, it works well. Same attribute. Do you understand? So that is that. So let's deal with this now. So we're done with this. Let's do our form. So for our form now, we have to take into consideration our text here. So we have this particular fine box. I think yes, it's fine box. So let's do that. So let's go back to our code, and for our box, let's see. Here's our code. So for that box, we have H4. So let's target our H4. Let's come and say H4.
Who is that person now?
It's prayer time now.
Basically, you have our H4. And it text. So now, if you notice, check we have this particular bar here. So let's say we have the width to be 100% and the bar to be. So let's go back to our CSS now. And this is the color that is being used, this blue. So let's give it a background color. Let's do background color bar dash blue. Yes, we have this already. And let's say our color is white. Color is white. And do this. And let's check what we have. I think we are there. So what we need to do now is to make this in the center. So to make it in the center, we use a text align center. Let's check. Yes, it moves. Then we need to give it a padding, because if you note in our design, we have like the space up and down. So let's give it a padding. I'm assuming 1 rem. So let's come and see padding 1 rem. So note, I'm using shorthand here. Instead of saying padding top and padding bottom, I'm just saying padding. So what happens is we're using just the padding key. Then padding provides you with 4 values. So the 4 values are the top here. This is the top. This is the right, and this is the bottom, and this is the left. Do you understand? So the first one is the top. Then it's like the clockwise movement. So you have your 12 o'clock, you have your 3 o'clock, you have your 6 o'clock, and you have your 9 o'clock. So this is the 3 o'clock, this is the 6 o'clock, and this is the 9 o'clock. If I using only 2 values, what automatically happens is this first one is the up and down, and this one is left and right. Do you understand? So we need just the up and down. So we are doing this. Yes, we have that in place. So you also have like this fine edge here. If you note, there's like this rounded edge here. So we can as well come and say our other regions. And you can say, let's see what one area looks like.
Wait, sorry, for the padding, that means the 1 represent, the 1 REM represent up and down, then the 0 represent left and right, Abby?
If I do this, what happens is everywhere becomes like.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So we also have like a shadow thing going on. And let's see if it's provided with the shadow. You can see there's a shadow kind of thing happening today. So let's see if we are giving that shadow star. Is there a shadow? Is there a shadow? No shadow. So let's improvise with it. So we have shadow. And it's quite hard if you're not giving the value, but let's just test out different. Say 0, 0. So see what we have. Is there kind of let's increase it. Let's see 60.
The value you use for the blur is too much.
It's too much or it's too small.
30 pixels is too much.
Okay, yes, I think so. Let's put it 15. Let's do 15. Let's do 15. Let's do 15. Let's see. Is there the third value? Let's confirm again. Yes. I think it's there. Well, let me try and increase the. Let me do this to. Let's see. Let's use this in the absence of an actual value. So this will just hold. But just note in some situations they're supposed to give you like the value for the block shadow, but they didn't give us. So let's just use this just as test purpose. So after that, let's go back to our design. There's a space between this and this. So I'll just assume the space is like one area. So let's do margin bottom, one area. Let's save it. Let's check. Yes, it works well. Let's do 1.5. Let's see. Yeah, perfect. It works well. So what we need to do again now is to practically check out our form. So for our form, we have the background color is white, yes, and there's like this padding thing happening around every edge. So let's come and say our background color now. So we have our form, I think. Yes, we have the label form. So you can just come and check our form here. So you can see form, then background color, white. Then we have the padding of one area. Then we also have other radius of one area. Let's check it out. Let's see. Yes. I think it's too small. Let's give it the padding 2 area. Let's see. I think this is more like it. Now, next thing is that we need inputs to stay in their own. As you notice, they have like an inline behavior here. So we need it to be a block behavior. So what we'll do is come to our styling, then we target our inputs. So say we want the display to be display block. Let's confirm that it works. Perfect, it works. Now we have this overshadowing this is not supposed to be. So what you can do to fix this, to make like everything have like an equal width. So you can come to our section. So let's come here. So you can, no, this is a shortcut, but let me just make it longer. So you can just come to your section here and put a class name, and let's see, the others things to do. Choose your class name. So let's use this as container text, and let's copy it. Let's come to the second one and do container form. This should serve. So you can just come, let's copy this, and let's target it. Let's target it here. So you can do comma and do this also, then do form. So let's say flex one, and let's check. Yes, perfect. So using flex one simply means that each of them are going to take equal sizes of what's apportioned to them. Since they are flex and it's supposed to take like what's the name? Like equal sizes. So that flex now means that no matter how small this one becomes, no matter how big this one becomes, everybody's going to stay on their lane. So everybody's staying on their lane now, nobody's passing each other's boundary. So now that is done. So we need to now come to our image and make sure that our inputs are looking like this. So what we'll do firstly is to give the inputs a width of 100%. Width 100%. With that, we have this in place. Nice. So also give it a padding. Let's say padding top is smaller. So let's give it padding 0. some area, 1 area. So let's go back and check. It's still small in my eyes. It's still small in my eyes because what we have here is a tad big. I think so. So let's do 1.5. Let's see. Let's change this to 1.5 and let's change this to 1. Let's see what we have. Yes, this is more like it. I think this is more like it. So what we'll do next now is to space them out. So let's go back to our design. Let's check here. So we have like this space going on. So I'll just say, I'm assuming they're like one area. Let's check. I think it's more. Let's do 1.2. Let's see. 1.2. Fair enough. This is fair. Now we have to now take note of the border. It's like this border thing going on here. So this is the border, like the line you can see on the edges. So let's go and check the border. So for that, we can just target the border. Say border, and let's say 1 pixel solid. Then we have gray, I think dash gray. Let's use this. Let's see. Let's check the colors. Let's see if I was in the it's still saving. It's still saving. Let's confirm again. Yes, this is more like it. This is more like it.
Border reduce.
Yes, we have to add the radius. So let's make the radius 0.5 to make it. Let's apply radius 0.5 area. And let's check one. Let's see. Yes, this is nice. This is nicer. So we have this outlined out. So now all we need to do now is to focus on our text. So for that text now, we have this Jonathan, and it's still very bold. So we can come first things first and we'll say font family inherit. Most of the times, the input and the buttons are not like take. You have to manually set it down, so it doesn't take it. So we can just say font family inherit. So it inherits the body, the font of the body, the mother rather. So after that, we can come and say font size. Let's say 1.1. We can say font weight. Let's say 800.
What did you say? It inherits the font family
font
of the body. Okay.
mother. This is the mother now. So it takes what is here, basically.
Okay, I understand.
If you need inherit, it does that. So let's go and check. This one is too big. So let's reduce it out. Let's use one. And let's change this to 700. Let's see. I think it's fair this way. I think it's fair. But let's just use 600. Let's see again. And let's compare. I think 600 is fair then. Let's just use 600. So now we have this in place. But if you notice, once it's active, there's this dark color appearing. But it's supposed to be this bluish. So what we can do now is to use, we can say input, and we use the studio class. Then we can say, let's do for both on over, and we can also do inputs on focus. So we can adjust the outline. And we can say the color should be dash grayish blue, I think. No, it's supposed to be gray, I think. Dark.
So please, what's the outline? What's the outline?
Outline is this
blue.
Yeah.
What's that?
I'll show you now. Let me remove this. So let's go back. So if you hover, if you hover, you can see this dark, this black.
Okay. Yeah, I've been wondering. That's the outline. Thank you.
So now let's adjust that. So I don't think it's blue, rather. Let's change this to blue.
Is that what if that is outline? Which one is then borderline? Abi border.
They almost work in similar manner, but are quite different in it. Because if you are saying they are quite similar because the border also is the outline in layman terms. But once you are dealing with inputs, buttons, there's a special property called the outline. So the outline is that particular, what's the name? That line you are seeing across. So let's do the 1 pixel.
When dealing with input and buttons. All right.
And let's check it out. Yes. So if you can see, I'm hovering, then I'm getting that. If you hover on it, you get that particular stuff. But it's too sharp, so I don't like it. So let's give it a transition. So let's say transition. Transition. We have see 0.4 seconds. So this allows like a little animation happen. So if it doesn't, the sharpness is not like there. Is in, it is out. Let's change it to second. 4.2 seconds. Let's see. So this is
Yes,
me.
sir, please. The first button at the top.
This is a button. This like.
Yeah, we initially put one element
Yes.
inside the span because they have different font size. We've not actually styled that.
Yeah.
This is, let's go back to our HTML. Let's see. Our H4. So we can come here and see H4. Let's find our H4. This is our H4. We can see H4. Then we'll say, then for that span, we just say the font weight. Font weight is. Now let's check it out. Let's see. Yes, it's there, but it's still not obvious. Let's give it opacity of 0.9. I think it's obvious now, yeah. So this one is thicker, this one is thinner. So yes, now that we have done that.
So please, sir, why did you put that input focus?
So for instance now this form is not focused. Yeah. Let me remove it. Let me remove it so we see. Because you can see that there's nothing happening here. So if I focus on this, there's a dark outline coming on. Do you understand? That's not the behavior I want. So I want to style the focus state. Do you understand? That's why I added that over. Over also makes it, if your mouse over on it, then it has that effect, as you can see. And if you focus on it, it also has that effect. Do you understand?
When you say focus on it, what do you? Because I know that when you over, it's already hovering is when you just put your mouse on it, Abby.
Okay, now let's. Is there any input with focus?
Yes, sir. The question for now is, I think, the difference between focus and over.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. That's it.
Over is when your mouse is not focus. Because if I ask you now, which input are we typing in? Do you have an idea which input you're typing in? Let me zoom in for you guys now. Is there any indication that there's an input here that we are typing in?
No.
Now, this is where focus comes in. So let's do this now. Which input am I typing
in? Email.
How do you know? How do you know?
Because
I saw
of
the
the
highlight.
dark.
It just highlights better.
So that's how you know the focus and over. For over now, I don't need to. With over, it's just changing the. If I move my mouse, it changes. But for focus, when that indicator is there, that's when it's focused. Do you understand?
Okay, I understand now. I understand.
That is where you have placed the cursor or selected. The field you have selected is the focus.
So that being said, and that is done. Let's go on to style the button. You know, I haven't touched the JavaScript. Let's go and style the button before we go on to treat the JavaScript.
Correct.
So for this particular one, we have our button. The button is green, and we have our text. So let's go on to our button. Let's see button. Let's give it a width. Let's say display block. It's 100%. With that, we know it's standing on its own. Let's confirm that. Still saving. Yes, finish saving. Yes, perfect. Now we have to do what we did with our input. So give it a padding 1 rem. Yeah. So with this now, we know that it's set. The background color is green. It's green, and the color itself is white. Not white passation. Let's use this. Which is white. So let's see. Yes. But if you notice, there's like this dark thing going around it. So you can do that
outline.
And now this is where the border comes in place. You see border none. So the outline only shows when like is the focus state is active. If you notice. Now with this now you can see like nothing happens basically. Do you understand? If you're using outline here, let's switch it to outline. Let's go back and see. You can still see that black stuff is there. So for the button now, the outline basically does not stand. It's the whole border. The outline is like from when like there's a action going on, the focus basically, then the outline pops out. Do you understand? So for the border, it's like the line around. Who is yawning? For the line around this particular button. So let's give it our border radius of one. Border radius one area, and one family inherits one size. Let's check now. Yes, it's decent now. I think it's decent. So let's compute our design. Let's see if we're on point. If we're on point. Yes, we are on point, except this is capital letter. So let's come back and see text decoration uppercase. Text transforms uppercase. So let's come and check capital letter. Yes, so we have done this. And the next one is the what's the name? The small, this particular text here. So for that small, we just need to target our small text align center. And the color is gray. I think yes. Let's see. I need the margin top of an area. Let's check. Oh, margin top percent. Okay, let's give the margin to the button. Because of the fact that it's an inline text, some of this stuff behave abnormally. So let's see now. No. Bottom, yes. Let's check. Yes, it works now. So there's this space. So if you notice, regardless of the fact that I'm putting the what's the name? The text align center, it doesn't pop out to the center. And this is the usefulness of pesticide. As you can see, it's not taking like 100% width, just taking the width it needs. That's why it sticks here. So let's come back and adjust that. Let's see if it's 100%. Let's check now. It still doesn't work. Then this is where we'll do the display flex, align items, center, justify content, center. See if it doesn't center again. Let's see. Perfect. So now we have all our items in the center. So we need to change these terms and services. So come here.
So since that test align did not work, is it not good that you remove it? Or will you leave it like that? Or it's important, right?
Let's see. Yes. So what we need to do now is to target our span, and our span is just the red color. So let's come back here and see small span, then color for red. That's red. So with this, we are done with what we need to do. So let's come here and give it a space. We're missing a space here. Let's make space. Let's do the traditional way. Hold. Supposed to. Span small. What's happening? Okay, fair enough. The reason the flex, I forgot. So it joins together. So can I just do gap here? Because we're using flex, it joins together. I'm going to gap 0.55. 0.25. See.
What if you decide to use a non-breaking space?
It carries it to the.
Well, it can still work out.
The issue here was the fact that we used that, and there's another item here.
Flex.
Another tag here. So it's just flex. The flex like meshed two of them together. So this gap basically has the space we need. And this is why we have our space here. But I think this stuff is darker. Yes, it's darker. So we just need to add our font width here. Let's see 600. Let's check now. I think it's fair. Let's make it pointable. So let's do also pointer. Yes, this is right. Now there's an issue here. If you notice, this is supposed to be in the middle. And let's fix that. So let's go back to our code. Now main. So let's do align item center. Yeah, perfect. So what we have here is similar to what we have here. So we can confirm that, yeah. So now what we need to do now is, this is where the JavaScript comes in place. We need to check, most especially the email. So if the user enters the wrong email, we need to change the border to red, indicating that this email is wrong. Do you understand? And this is quite easy than most of you imagine. Do you understand? But first things first, now we need to do a lot of bringing in. That's what they call it, bringing in. So for this particular side now, we have to go and target. Let me close this. So let's give our classes here. Let's give them classes. So let me just do this. Yes. So I'll do class now. For the class, let's put first name. First name. So I'll come here and change it to class. I'll come and change this to email. I'll come and change this to password. So this is what we use to target on our HTML. You can also what the button does basically is, let's just go. I'll get an idea of button. Then what we need to do again is let's target the form. Let's give it an ID of form also. I think that should be enough for now. Yes, it should. We can, but okay, I'll give you guys an assignment, but this, let's just do this as like the basics. There's something else that you guys would do, like to improve the code. So that will be the assignment. There's something I need you guys to do to improve the code. So let's come here, but we need an error state. Let's focus on JavaScript. Then
I wanted to say something actually, or ask a question based on like what you do. Like on the design we are actually replicating. Please, can I see the design again, not the code? Okay, yeah. What I would have done would have been to, I don't know, I want to just be sure if I'm correct or if it's correct. If there wouldn't be a problem if I try it in case it's correct. What I would have done would be to like create a container that would house this the left content and the right content. Yeah. And then put this first header and the paragraph under it inside one div. And also put this this button up and the form under it inside another div. And then give the container that carries the both divs a display of flex and a gap between the two.
So we have our main body. We have our main body. We have the main here. The main is holding two divs. In your case, you're saying div. I'm using a section here because ideally this is one section and this is another section. You can put it as div if you want to. Or some people class section as like a particular aspect in the code. That's a preference also matters here. So we can say, okay, in the main now we have two divs. So what I say now, we'll change this to div. And you have another div here, basically. And in one div, you have your text. The other div, you have everything that is happening there. So that's automatically what we are doing, except we are using a section for it. So if you come here, nothing change.
Okay, I get the difference.
So the main now is housing two divs. This is the first div, the second div. Then the first div is holding the text, second is holding the other side. When the class from initials, because I said that.
What did you say?
I said, we're in the class initially because I said that like when we started.
Oh, I actually like left at some point.
Yeah, okay, fair enough then, fair enough. So now we are done with that. Let's go to our JavaScript. So for our
Please, can I
JavaScript,
see that your CSS for small? I don't know what I'm missing. Just the small CSS for small. Okay, cursor. Okay, let's continue. That's the only thing I did not see. Continue.
Wait, so are you really following and you fast so if you type for
No,
VS
no.
Code?
If I see it, I can do it myself. Even if my brain will just know what to do.
now we are in our JavaScript. That's how we are here. Let me use that word. That's how we are here. So now, first off, we need to bring everything we have on our HTML in our JavaScript. So I already said how we can do that. Let's just const. Let's start with our form. And we'll see our form is equal to document dot query selector. Can you get element by ID? Can you query selector regardless? Let's use this for now. And our ID was form. We also have another ID, which is button. So let's change this to button. Yes. Button. Then we can come and say const first name is equals to document dot select for. We can just put our first name here. Then we can come and change this to last name. Last. You can also do this, say email. And do this and say password. So this is practically what we need for now. Yeah, we need this basically. So let's go back to our design and let's see active states. So if you notice that there's this error state here, and this first thing cannot be empty. So this is your assignment basically. You guys would implement this. But what I'll just do for us is the
No time to research.
but I'm doing everything basically for you guys.
Is
So
this
what,
for what?
no, 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 no. You guys will work. You guys haven't worked since we don't start this thing. You guys haven't done anything. And you guys are saying you want how JavaScript. So this like
Ah,
those
Give us
God
one.
anything. Ha, I
wow
beg,
for
that's
you.
what God
I
anything.
beg, give us
To
expo,
make it
expo,
easy,
give us expo.
make it easy. I'll do it for that. You guys use that idea. Thanks for banking with us. So yes, let's do this now. What we need to do basically is to validate our email. So we need an instance where if the user enters, like what he enters is not correct. Yeah. So let's do this. Let's do validate email. Now for this method, we don't validate email. This is I'm going to paste it for you guys now. It's not how you call it. It's like it's called a regress. It's a regress expression. So it's used to check emails. You can just come to Google because it's practically impossible to cram this thing. So let's do email checker JavaScript. Yeah. I thought it was not plugged. Damn it. It seems because my laptop will go off now. So this is like a way to validate your email. Can you guys stay on the call while I try and put power to this laptop? I'll just pause the recording too.
No problem.
Yes, sir.
No problem.
What time is the class ending before? Because
9 o'clock.
There's no who's 9 o'clock. What's happened? The class has ended already.
Attire, close this now.
It's supposed to end 6:30. The class has ended. Well, I wanted to do this before going. But you guys just have to like
Go and plug your laptop. We are waiting.
yeah, you guys hold on. So let me just
Adama, because you get light, ba?
Funny enough, I no get light.
I know what we shall. God go down for us.
You go down for me, join.
I will have to turn off now. And from the JavaScript too.
as I was saying initially, yeah, so there's like a way to collect to yes to validate the form. So there's what they call regress expression in JavaScript. So this is the reverse expression. So this particular expression checks our code for us. So if the user is entering like code that does not have the @ the dots, it basically checks it out and said, oh, this is not valid. So this is like a function that we can use. So this particular function, variable is the invalid email. That is accepting email as a as what do you call this? Remind me, so much remind me, what do you call this?
Arguments.
Argument.
Thank you, man. Thank you. An argument. So yes, so it works with this. So these are regress expression to validate an email. So once it gets it, it takes this dot test and tests across this email. So this is like a function you can use. So basically, I'm not going to copy it now and use it. So let me just copy this. And if you just come to Stack Overflow, any question I'm looking for, you see any question. If you don't see your question, there is a spatial problem. So let's go back to our code now. Let's see. Okay. So let's put this on. These are our functions to validate email. So now that we have this function, let us keep it to one side. And let's now talk about the most easiest part. So first is first, we need our form, because form is where all the magic happens. So let's do form.add event listener. They are going to do this thing for the submit event. So when the user submits, so there are different events, like I actually said, there's the on over. Somebody mic is your mic, you're not speaking. So with that now, we are using the submit. So the submit basically is initiated when the user tries to submit the form. So with this now, we have our events here and how to use that event. So this E is basically an event also. Compared to what we are having here, this E is more like a window for us to access forms, basically. So you're working with form, you likely see this E. So E is called an event. You can use event here, you can use just E. But regardless, if you see E, it means an event. So doing this now, the first is first, because there's like a natural behavior for forms. And I will illustrate that to us now. So let's go back to our code. Let's go back to our code. Oh, sorry, our form. So notice now, if I click claim your trial, what happens? The page refreshes. You notice if you click on this button now. So this is the process of submitting. If you submit ordinarily, it refreshes your page. So we don't want that to happen. So what do we do? It's what they call the prevent default. So the first thing you do is just use your E. Then there's the prevent default. We call it like this. So with this now, you are sure your form won't submit, like it won't refresh your page upon submitting. Let's go back and test it. I'm clicking it now. Let's see. You have to give mine. Hold on, let me see. I have to give mine. Let's check. See your question. I have to give my what's the type of submit? I think so. Let's confirm that. Let me see. Yep, correct. Welcome to JavaScript. Yep. So let's try it out. Let's see. Let's go back one. So let's refresh. So the issue is that it's not reading it because we also have the submit here. So that's the issue I'm guessing. So let's go back and see what we're doing. Add event list now. So let's console log form first and see what we have. So this is like a way to debug in case something's not working right. you go to the root and check what happened. So let's be sure that we have our form first. So let's go back and um, oh yeah. So there's an issue here. Who can tell me the issue? And I mentioned this before. We're not linking our JavaScript. We did it for the Chidima file, but we didn't do it here. That's why it's very important. Now, this is like a practical example of what I usually face ordinarily. So I'm linking our script stack here. And on my mind, I was like, why? Wow. Perfect. So let's go back and check. So let's console. Let's go. Let's see. So we have our form now. So let's try and submit it. Let's see. Perfect. It doesn't refresh. So this is like a way to debug ordinarily. And if you notice, we had to like go back and consult our form and know why it's not working. So with that, now you can easily note what is wrong with our code. So now that we have that working, let's do this. So what we need to do now is we need several things. Now we need to check if what the user enters is valid or not. And like I already explained initially, there's a way to get the content of our input. If you notice for the calculator, we're using that content dot value. So for instance, now we have our variable. So the first thing we have to do now is to collect all the items in a variable. So let's do, and this is the main reason is because we don't want to keep writing our code dot value. So let's do this. So let's say const, because we have first name, I can't use first name again, so I'll use f name is equals to first name dot value. I'll make this across all pages. So I'll come here and say L, which is the last name, and I'll put last name. Now I'll come here and say email. Email for validation. I'll put email here.
Oh, wow. Sure,
Now I'll come and say
do the thing.
Password validation. And I'll put password here. So with this now, let's console log our first name, last name, email, and password. So email var, and password. So let's go back to our yes. We have this. So let's try and enter a value here. Let's say let's use Sasu. And let's use Adama. And let's use the like a random email i@gmail.com. And let's say password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's submit and see. What's happening? We solved this already. Let's see. Shit. Oh, yes. This JavaScript runs from top to bottom. So it's running all these ones first before doing this. So we need to first of all prevent the default before doing this. That's why I refreshed. So you have to be very, very careful if you are doing this. So let's go again. We've done this. Let's go back to our. Let's check now. Never. So let's check our console. Let's clear the console. Let's go again. Sasu, last name, Adama. email I@gmail.com, password 123. I'm not read property document. Welcome to JavaScript. Let's go back and debug. So now let's console log our first name and also console log our last name. Let's console log email and let's console log password. So let me clean this out and let's check if all these values return. Should. Let's go back and check. Yes, we have first name. We have the first name. We have the password. We have the last name. Okay, that's where the error is coming from. Let's go and check. There's no last name.
For the sorry, the HTML, you use the capital letter, I think.
Yes, that's where the issue is. And has how sensitive JavaScript can be. So we have to change this back to lowercase. Let's save and let's go back and see again. So let's do this. Let's refresh and let's go again. Let's refresh. So everything is complete now. We have our first name, last name, email, and password. So let's cancel this out. I'm glad this is happening, so you guys would know how it is to debug your code. And let's try this again. So let's go back to our stuff. Let's enter first name, Sasu, Adama at gmail.com. 1, 2, 5. Let's claim and see. Perfect. So now we have our values here. This is what we wanted. So we have passed one stage. So what we need to do now is to validate those values. Do you understand? And this is where we use our if check and else check. So for the first thing we need to do now, so if we go back to our code, inside this our form block, what we need to do is now we create an if check. So we'll say if, as we did yesterday, we come and put our condition here. So we'll say if first name is equals to an empty string, what should we do? Now this is where we need to have like an error state, like I was trying to say initially. So we'll go out to our CSS and we need to have our error state. So the error state basically is what happens if an error occurs. Do you understand? So we can just come to our CSS and say our inputs dot error, and let's put the border. Let's duplicate this and come here and say red. So to test this out, I'll come to our HTML, and for one of the labels, let's put one of the inputs. Let's put error as the class name. So let's go back to our code. Okay. So as you can see now, we have the what? The error state. So if you enter like an invalid, what's the name? Invalid input or first name, then this error state comes out. So what we need to do now is to toggle the error state. We don't need to add it here because we add it to automatically render on first rendering. So we have to remove it and only add it to JavaScript. So we can spice it up and say, for this error state, we can also do this. To be assignments. I'll spoil this for you. So for this error state now, let's say we want to, if this particular first name is empty, what do we want to do? We want to add the error state on the input. You have our input now. You can target the input as a whole, but that is very vague. So we're dealing with only the first name. And since we have our first name already here, what we can do is say, okay, we can target our first name. Remember, the first name is coming from up, not this one down. You can say first name dot. Then you can now come and target a class list. This is the class list. You can either add or remove. But in this case, now I want to add. There are many things you can do. You can toggle, you can remove, you can check if it contains. But we are adding now, so you can add. And what we're adding is what? The error. So what I'm saying is, if first name is an empty string, what do? We need to add error. Else, remove it. Easy, easy. This is what you just need to check your first name. So let's test it out. Let's go back to our stuff. Now we have a first name as empty. Let's try and submit. Perfect. You can see the red line comes. So I'll refresh for us. I'll try and submit. As you can see, the red line comes. So this indicates that, oh, this particular state is an empty string, and it can't go like this. Look at the red line. So let's do this across for all of our input field. Adam, I have a question. Adam, I have a question. Answer up.
Yes. There is, I don't know if you can re-explain this part just now. I think my mind was busy thinking of how difficult the assignment you are talking about would be, so it was not focusing just now. Sorry about that.
I'll do that again. So basically, what I'm saying is, there's how you can access what you have in your HTML. So I'll come here, and because I'm working with the first name now, I'll consider the first name. Let's consider first name. And I'll go back to our console. If you check our console now, you can see that the first name considered is this particular input here, this first input. Yeah. So now, since we've gotten this input in our JavaScript, we're telling JavaScript that, okay, see, I need the value of that first name. So the value is whatever we are entering inside this first name. Yeah, that's what the value is. And we're keeping the value in this particular variable. So this variable is holding anything that goes inside this first name. Now we're doing our if check. Our if check is saying that, okay, if this first name, if the value is an empty string, that is, the user does not add anything inside, then add this error state. Now the error state in our CSS, we have this class called .error. What .error does basically is what? Changing the border to red. Our border initially was what? Gray. But now our border is what? Red. So if there's an error in any case, add this, forfeit this and add this. Do you understand? So this is how you combine JavaScript with CSS. Basically saying, okay, with this, so target the class list for this first name and add what? Error. But you must first add the error to what? Your CSS. You must make provision for it. That would be here. Do you understand? So you can come and do the same thing for the last name. But you don't understand again.
Hello, sir.
I think
I'm with you.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm with you. I can hear you.
Hello, sir.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I have a question, sir. Okay, is there any other error message you can give? Because some person, I'm thinking that maybe because of that.
I can't hear you clearly. You're saying what? Hello? Maybe just type your question in the chat, then I'll read it out. Because I can't hear you clearly.
Okay, my question, I have a question. Where I have issues is this input.error. It's still speaking. You cannot hear us.
What other visible?
I can't hear you.
Okay, I have an idea of the question he's trying to ask. He's trying to ask about what other kind of error message can we configure or our code to display. Take for instance, if you type a number in a place for an email address now, it should be able to tell you that you've typed a number or something. Maybe these are the kind of question, these are the kind of thought line that he's trying to ask question on.
Basically, if you enter an invalid email, this particular function would return an error, and the error will tell you that okay, this email is not successful or is an invalid email. Now there are things you can do also. So you can say if first name is equals to a string and first name length is lesser than 3. So with this now, I've said, okay, if the first name is a string or first name dot length, because I was expressing a string, you are checking the length. If it's lesser than 3, return this error. So you can do, it depends on the kind of the context you are looking at. Then I'll describe what's error to your code. Some people might say they want their username to be 5 above. Some can say 10 above. Do you understand? But the baseline is any error you feel is what you put into your condition. But for us now, we're checking basically if the user enters an empty first name, then you can add this error. You can come back here and put, okay, you want your error, you want the what do I say? You can say you want the input, the color of your text to also be red. Once there's an error, the color becomes red. So anything can go inside these two places. It just depends on what you want as preference. Do you understand? So we'll duplicate this again and say we've done for our last name. Now let's do for our password. But the password now is quite complex, and I'll explain that now. So we have a function that validates our password. So what we need to do now is what? Sorry, our email. So we need to call the validate email. Then we'll pass our what? Our email, basically. So this is the email that is entered, and this is our function that validates it. So what we'll do now is say, okay, if this is not a valid email, now this sign that I placed here now is checking that, okay, once you collect this, if it's not valid, this is check if it's valid, yeah? But if it's not valid, that's why this particular exclamation mark is coming here. Or the email val is equal to an empty string, then add this particular error. So let's come out and change email class list, add this, then else to this. So now we've validated our email, we'll test it out also. Then we can also come to our password and copy what we have here. Let's copy this and do for our password. So we can change this to password val.
Sorry, please, this email val argument that you passed to this validates is a variable, right? What is stored in the variable?
This is the value. This is the variable holding the value for the email. Do you understand? You can as well come here and say email.
Okay. This is. I want to just know what is stored in the variable.
Yes, it's the value for the email. As we come, let me just all this out. And let's go back to our code. Kindly pay attention this time because I tested it out for us. So I'll come back here and say, now watch the console. So I'm coming here and I'm typing Sasu. And for the second one, I'm typing Sasu. No. Sasu, Pelumi, and let's say our email is divine@gmail.com. The password is 1234567. Now, if I clear this and I press submit, what happens is all this value comes out as what we typed. And reason is we are giving these particular values here. Look at their holders. So this particular name is holding the first name value. That is holding this. This one is holding this. This one is holding this. So all these variables now are holding the values for all those inputs. Do you understand? And those are the values that are using here. Do you understand? So instead of coming here and typing first name of value, no, just save it in a variable, then we use it anywhere you want to use it. Is that okay?
Thank you.
So now we've done this now. So let's check what happens if we go back to our form and submit an empty. So let's show, yes, it's refreshing. So let's submit and see. So we'll see that everything we did here is running red. The reason is that, our state are empty. So let's come and put first name. Let's put Sasu. Let's put Divine. And email is Adama. But I'll not use ads. I'll use adama/gmail.com. I'm not put .com. I'll put -com. I'll put our password 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Let's submit and see. So here's an this is let me go back to our HTML. There's no required here, I think. There's no required here. JavaScript, HTML is forcing us to use ads. Okay, let's use this dash instead of .com. Let's see. If you notice now, only Adama is having that red sign because this particular email is not a valid email. Do you understand? So now we've successfully checked for the input and validated the email. So if you are submitting now and the email is not correct, what do? You display the user that this particular one is not correct. So for your assignment, and I would place that in your elements. What you guys would do for me now is, and this would take research. This would take like a bit of research. You guys will add an
handkerchief.
He said?
Please give us the handkerchief.
Yes, an handkerchief. You guys will add an eye icon here. The eye icon, if the user clicks on it, you see the password. And if the user taps on it again, it will change back to this. That's one. I would note it out. I'll write it out for those that will be here. But I'm just giving you guys tips based off that are here. And for the other one, we'll do what we have here. So if the user enters what is not correct, they will display this to them. Let's wait for it to do. Yes. So we'll display this particular icon here. As you can see, we have our error icon. We have first name cannot be empty, last name cannot be empty. Looks like this is my email. Password cannot be empty. So this is like an upgrade to what we've done. And it's quite easy. I promise you, like 1 line of code, 2 lines of code will do all this stuff. But what I need you guys to do is just to use what we've done here, use the concept or the idea basically to complete the work. So I would teach us how to, so I'll push this to my GitHub now. It's Git desktop. But I promise you guys I'm going to use Git desktop. So you can use it to do what you want to do. Easy peasy.
Sorry, before
Any
you
questions?
push, I have a question.
What's your GitHub again, please? Let me follow you now.
Hello?
I'll share it.
Yeah, so please
Yes, go on.
this validate email, validating the email and the password, please go over it again. I'm kind of confused.
This particular email now, we need to tell if a user is entering an email that is valid or not. Do you understand? And to tell, we have a function that validates email. So this validates email function now basically takes email as an argument. What it does is, this is a regress expression. So this regress expression checks if the user is entering invalid keys. Now the invalid keys are as follows. There's this particular sign here. As you can see, there are different signs here that check different things. All these things you might know them, some people know them offhand, but you can go to what's the name? Stack Overflow, or you just type validate email JavaScript. You can get this particular code there. What it does. So what it does is it takes your email, convert the email to lowercase, then pass this text to it. As you can see, R is the regress.test. So it's testing your email first things first. Before doing that, it's converting to a string and also to a lowercase, then testing it. So this is practically saying is either the email is good or not good. Do you understand? Now, if the email is not good, that's why this thing is here. If the email is not good or is bad or is falsy, what do we do? Or this particular email is an empty string. So this check works in 2 ways. It's checking if the email is an empty string, and also checking if what is a faulty email, then add the error. Else, remove the error. Do you understand? And the password is as we have done here. Check if it's an empty string. If it's an empty string, add the error or remove the error. Any more questions? Well, I have
Okay,
to go now.
thank you.
Yeah, so the question I have here is for all these scroll up a bit, please. Okay, you know me, I like having understanding of what is what. So now we have something like first name dot class list dot add in bracket error. Can you explain each of the line, like those two there, the one that add and the one that remove? And then also another thing again is I also noticed that you know, first of all added the ID or a class in the HTML input field that attribute that was error to particularize something, but you later remove it. Does it mean that the CSS where you have input dot error, that dot error is picking that particular ID or something from JavaScript? I'm still not. What's the linking? How is the JavaScript connecting to this thing? So kindly explain these, please.
Top of the stuff here. Basically, there are different attributes. Now I explained to us on our first, when we are doing Chidima, I said there are like properties that you can access on a particular element. And we changed Chidima to Sasu when we're doing that. Now, also, our first name, which is our inputs now, we can add a class list to it. So if you say class list now, class list basically is all these things we are seeing here now. So let's see, do we have a class? Do we have a class? Okay, the only class we have here is just this dot error. So how to add a class to CSS is doing the dot, what the hell, container form, this is a class. If it's, what's the name? If it's a tag, like we do hash. I guess you guys know all this by now. So this is how to target IDs in HTML. I'm using dot to target class, basically. So if you're adding a class to HTML, why initially imputed it here is to use it for styling. So if I have error here now, what it means now, if I have error here now, what it means is that this particular input has a class name of error. Do you understand? And in some cases, before you start JavaScript, you need to like style it behind the scene. Do you understand? So if, for instance, now when you guys start adding this, what's the name? This particular first name cannot be empty. You guys will have, first of all style it now before using JavaScript to show or not show it. Do you understand? So the process of styling it now is you adding that particular class to your HTML. After it's set, then you can remove the class, then go ahead to run your JavaScript. So in this case now, I'm saying, okay, if our name here has error, so let's go back to our HTML. So let's go back to our code. Okay. Let me refresh now. As you can see, automatically, this first name has an error class because I've not even submitted it to, but show me the error. And the reason is I'm adding what? The class name error to it already. Do you understand? So this error in the class name is saying, okay, perfect. Let me show you a perfect example now. So let's go to our inspect. Let's inspect this. Let's inspect this. If we inspect now, you can see we have only what? First name as the class here. Let me zoom in. As you can see, we have only first name as a class. This here. Is it visible? We have only first name as a class here. Yeah. Now let's submit this. If I submit it now, what do you notice? There's an error here. But the error was not automatically now. How does it come about? It's because we have told JavaScript that if this particular thing is empty, add error to the class name. That's what .add does. So if I come here and enter a valid name, let's name, and I come back and press enter, what happens is it has removed the error because what? This particular check is correct. And I said, okay, if it's correct, remove the error. That's why I haven't seen error here again. Also, if you come to this last name now, let's check the inputs. You can see error here. If I come back and put a valid last name now, last name, and I press submit, you can see it's removed the error because what? Last name is a valid name. It removed the error. That's the work of the add and the remove you are seeing in this JavaScript now. So I'm saying, okay, There's a class name that is named error. And what this error does is to change the background, the border color of the particular input. If the user enters an empty state or an empty string, add the error to it. If not, remove the error. That's just what this does. Is that clear enough?
As a matter of fact, I've understood it in a very, very sweet and unique way. I can even explain it in a way that maybe somebody else can even pick up. If I get you right from what you have done.
When I get the assignment, then explain it yourself. Your
No,
body
I
will
want
tell
to
you.
be sure, but if the understanding I'm having is a correct one. So if I get you right, so what this class list dot add does is that it should go and class list dot add then this error. It should go and add error among the class list that is an attribute of the class for first name. You should add it to it. And once it have added it to it, CSS will now pick it as under the class that it would then have to give a styling that have the properties of the errors that you are going to style. Do you understand? So what
I understand. But what I'm trying to say is, regardless of what you are doing here, make sure you're making provision for your error states in your CSS. Because if there's no error here, if I remove this error now, and let me just comment this one out. Let's assume there's no provision for it. And I go back to our code. So even though I submit like an empty stuff, nothing happens. You see that nothing changed because what? There's no provision for error. So nothing can happen basically. Because even if it has error to it, then what happens? Nothing, because there's no provision for error. So let's confirm that. I go and you're seeing error here, but there's no red on it. Reason is that I'm not making for provision for error on my CSS. So in doing that, you have to make provision for error for your CSS before adding. If I change this to Adama, and I come to I'll change this to Adama. Let's go back and see.
It should work.
So let's refresh. Let's submit. Adama, name, okay.
Second spelling for that. Go back. You didn't put A in the last one in JavaScript. Go back to your JavaScript code.
Is it already? Okay. Let's check it out. That's your name. Your name don't want to acknowledge the error. So let's submit. Perfect. You can see Adama is error basically. So let's check our first name. You can see Adama as a class here. So you have to make provisions for those stuffs there for it to like work. Do you understand? That being said, I've come to the end of this class. No problem. So for the assignment, I'll paste it. I'll paste it. You guys will see it on your LMS. So you guys would practically like redo this with the whole state in this. So I want to see this. So if the user enters a valid email, you are going to show them the valid email. Who is showing us our fine piece? Anthony, your camera. If the password is empty, you do this and so on and so forth. So how to push to your repo. So let's do that fresh. So this is what Git desktop looks like for now. So now let's say I'm opening Git desktop. Let's go to file. So first of all, you add your local repository. So you come to add. And for that one, we have to go and find the code or the folder we are using. So let's find the folder I'm using. Let me confirm what the folder is. Let's say I'm using workspace, web design. Let's see. No, it's in downloads rather. It's in downloads. Downloads this and this. Yes, this is. So this everything you've done. So it's telling you here now that directory does not appear to be a Git repository. We like to create, press create. Then you can name it whatever you want to name it. So I'll just name it this and press create repository. That's all. Automatically, the repo has been created. So if I go to my repo now, I'll see it. So I just publish it, publish repo. Keep this code private, no. Change the name to this. Publish repository. Let's wait till it publishes.
No
Now,
Git commit.
that's all. So if I want to commit now, let's go back to our code and let's say I made a change. Where's our code? Let's close it. So let's this is our code. So let's assume now I made a change. And let me add comments here. Let me add comments here. See, check. Let's see. I come here and do check last name. I come here and do check name. Come here and do check password. Go back to our desktop. You see the changes we've made. So this is your change. Everything you've made. Just come here and enter a commit message. Updates. Automatically, it even gives you like a commit message. Update app.js. Now just press commit. If you press commit, that's all. If you want to push, come here and press push. That's all. You don't need to do your git push and git whatnot. So if you make changes to like different files, let's come to our HTML and let's say we added. Let's change this to section. Let's give this class name. Let's just say container. And let's come to our style. Let's change main that we have here to dot container. Practically like the same thing that we have. Yeah. I just mixed it up. To go back to our this thing now, you can see that the two files that we changed are shown here and basically telling us what was changed. If you come to your CSS, it's telling you this is what was there initially, this is what is there now. Do you understand? So this gives like a visual understanding of what's happening in your file. I can choose to commit them one by one. I can come here and commit only the CSS file. I commit it. If I want to commit the HTML, I can leave it. I can just push now. If I push, that's all. I can also say, okay, I want to commit this one now. I just click on this tick here. I press on commit to main. After committing to main, I'll push. That's all. So if I go to my repo now, so let's go and check my repo. Let's go to my repo. So let's say GitHub. So if you come here, you basically see this. So this is what we've done now. I open it. Let's confirm. Everything we have is it 3 minutes ago. Now, if you are doing this like as a receiver, because I'm going to make this code available for you guys, so you guys can start from where I stopped. You can just come to this code here. You see open with Git desktop. Once you click open with Git desktop, it will open your app for you. It opens the app for you. Then, because I already have it, if you don't have it now, to tell you what, like clone your repo. If you don't have it initially, it will ask you to clone your repo. And once you clone now, basically, you have these settings as it is like this. Then you can come here, just click, you can see open with VS Code here. You can also see open with VS Code here. So if you click on it, it will open your VS Code for you. As easy as that. So instead of coming to your doing git init, blah, 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 this is a very, very easy method. For tomorrow's project, what we'll do is we'll use terminal to do that one. So you guys can see the difference and which is easier and which is harder. So with that being said, bye bye. So you guys can somebody was saying he wants to add me to what's the name? Oh, you guys are already leaving, sir. Bye bye.
We are not leaving yet. So how soon would the video be uploaded? Because
We are
of
seeing
us
you
that we
also.
want to go through it again.
I don't know how soon it will be uploaded, but
Please,
I
as soon
want
as possible. As soon as possible, please.
it's not with me basically. It's with what's his name? Shay. So Shay will do that. Shay will do that. So thanks for banking with us. And